was glad when they said, come let us go to the house of the Lord. I was glad when they say, come let us go to the church with no walls. You are my brother, you are my sister. From all over the world we are united in the house of God, in the church with no walls.
Welcome to this edition of the Church with No Walls podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Dearbone, and today I am pleased to be joined by Tiffany Rene, who is a resilience and growth expert. Tiffany, great to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here today.
So now, Tiffany, you have an interesting outreach ministry that I definitely want to talk about. First of all, just how did you get into? You've got the Whole Heart Foundation.
Yes.
So talk about what was your experience getting to having this? How did you come up with this? What was your life like before you got to the Whole Heart Foundation?
Okay, so we're going there. I actually was doing something completely different. I was selling costumes for Caribbean carnivals and throwing concerts and parties and stuff. And then I just had my encounter with Jesus, and he was like, you're going to put that down. You're not going to do that anymore. And I want you to wait for instructions. And I was like, okay. Do you know how hard it is for somebody who is an entrepreneur to sit down and not do something? But by faith, I was on this new journey. I was like, I've been doing stuff wrong my whole life, so I'm trusting in you. That includes business. And ministry. Because he told me he was calling me back to that. I was like, go back there? I don't know about that. I do not know about that. But I was obedient, and I put down the other business, which me really surrendering my life to Christ, he gave me exact instructions. Because I surrendered, my ear was open to hear instructions. And so it started off with him asking me, do you remember a vision I gave you for an event about 7 to 8 years ago? And I was like, I forgot all about that. So I'm writing down what I remember from that vision. It was that vivid. I still remembered it. And then things just started happening. Whenever I surrendered God, I had like a dream about what the logo needs to be like. So I woke up at 4 a.m. I sketched it out so I can give it to somebody else to perfect it. And even with the mentorship for youth, he told me the name for it, how to do it. How to run the events. And then it just grew from there. And so it was amazing because I was like, okay, I was scared to fully get back into ministry because I was like, last time I was in like a very strict church that was very judgmental and kind of corrupt. So I was like, I'm scared of that, dynamic. But the beautiful thing is that the Lord used my experience in social work and just working with women to be able to create an outreach ministry labeled as a nonprofit. And so it is just amazing that we can offer so many services to women free of charge, host so many impactful events that women can come to free of charge. And they may have come for one thing and end up leaving with another.
And I think that's, you kind of hit the nail on the head. You may come in for one thing. A lot of people will see an outreach ministry and they go in for one thing, they come out changed in some way. It may not be an immediate change. It may be months, weeks down the line, but there is a change that happens just because of what they see.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. A lot of women come to our events that are like, you're really doing all this is for free? Like all of this is free? And it's just amazing because I always like to, when you have a nonprofit, you're run by grants and sponsors and people want to see numbers. And so I'm asking the vendors, like, how did you do? And how many people came? So at our largest event, which is called the Whole You Women's Expo here in Jacksonville, Florida, we're getting ready for our third year, but 2 years in a row, we've had about 1,500 women who come out. It is a free event. It's all about self-care, but on a holistic level. And so there's spa treatment there that's free. There is panels that talk about financial security and health and wellness and parenting and things like that. But there's also therapists on site and doctors. And we even have a whole vending table, an area that is dedicated to prayer. We have a prayer corner. So if there's women that are interested in seeking prayer, we have intercessors on site that can provide that service for them, that can bring a life to Christ, that can pray for healing, for whatever it is that those women are needing. And so women may not have come in for that. They may have thought they were having just a girls' day to go get some jewelry and hear from some entrepreneurs for advice. And then you just happen to stumble upon the prayer corner. And so when I did my stats, she told me the amount of people that they were able to pray for. It was in the hundreds. And I was just shocked and so thankful, because you just never know how that's going to do in that kind of environment. But people are seeking God. And how better to say, hey, here's a free service. Here's my love. Here is love. By giving you, do you need help with a light bill? Do you need to take a break and get self-care? Do you need someone to watch your kids for a while you walk around and see what would be beneficial to you? Now, let me pray for you.
And so why is it so important for women to have that emotional, spiritual, mental, I don't want to say break, but have that care, that self-care that you provide with an event like this? Why is that so important?
Because women, especially minority women, are always in survival mode. And this is just something I've observed throughout my over 15 years of experience working with women. We are always in survival mode. And it surpasses all economic levels. So some people think, oh, well, she's a lawyer. She's not in survival mode. Yes, but she has unhealed trauma. She has resentment, unforgiveness in her heart. So it has nothing to do with just finances. That's another type of survival mode, right? So I can't even pay my bills. Do you think I'm concerned about therapy? No, I need to figure out how to get financially set. I need to figure out how to raise these children by myself now that I'm divorced, or I've never been married and I'm a single mom, and I didn't have time to heal from things not working out. I just had to keep going. I had to keep a roof over my head. I had to keep going. Or what we love to hear growing up, you have to work 15 times harder just to be equal as your counterparts. And so you're doing that, constantly burning out, constantly in survival mode. And you don't go to empowering events because of the conference cost or the cost for this or the ticket cost, or you can't find anyone to watch your kids. And so we got rid of those issues by offering free childcare, by making it a free event, by offering free facials and massages. So now what excuse do you have to not come and think about taking care of your mental health and getting a doctor's appointment? I find it so amazing that so many women I meet, they'll make sure their spouse's appointment is set, their children appointments are set, and yet they haven't seen their PCP in 2 years. You would be so shocked. and wow. A lot of these are even successful women. They just feel like they don't have the time. And so doing events such as this, offering the services that we offer, is a way to show women, no, you deserve this time. You have to have this time.
And then how for you, being a part of it, and you've seen these transformations, you've seen women coming for intercessory prayer, you've seen how they've begun to take care of themselves. How has that affected and changed you?
Oh my gosh, it's extremely humbling, because as I said, before I was doing this, I was going through identity crisis. I have always dealt with rejection my whole life and my own traumas and things that the Lord has healed me from. And it was it's always, I remember the first time, because I'm thinking, you know, our thoughts are smaller than God. So when he gave it to me, I was like, okay, well, it's a free event. So we'll probably get like 400 people. That's the goal. That's what we're shooting for. And I just remember being on stage and seeing, getting the stats that we surpassed 400 within the first 30 minutes. And I was just looking out to a full auditorium, just in awe of God. Like, when you really give him your yes, he will blow your mind. And so it's just fulfilling to know that even though that I'm able to do ministry, and it's in an unconventional way, I'm able to do it the way it was really done in the Bible, outside of the four walls of the church. And so it's just amazing to see what God is doing in this hour. And just like, I just encourage anyone, you know, church is super important for discipleship. But we have to, what is a disciple? You get what you need to get from church, and you go out and you do the work. And how else better to save souls than to show them love?
And then how do you think, and you kind of touched on it, by doing the work you do and having an unconventional outreach ministry complements the work that's being done inside the church?
Yes. We actually have women, again, that handle the prayer corner. They are from a great ministry, and they're a whole intercessory team, and they fast and they pray. We fast and pray before the event. We pray to bring the event in. And I just think it's just like, there's different parts of the body, right? Just like the fivefold ministry. One person has this gift, one person has this gift. And so I'm able to get the feeling that I need from fellowship amongst believers and everything. But at the end of the day, we are all going to heaven. We may be in different stages of our walk with Christ, but if you're going to a church, if you're discipled, you're more than likely you already have at least, at the basis, a personal relationship with God. You at least have invited him into your heart. Many of the people that come because again, a lot of them are in survival mode. If you're not making time for yourself and your needs, you're more than likely not making time for your relationship with God, right? And so we get to be an extension of the church that is able to go out and bring souls in, invite you to church. Do you need revival? Has it been a while? Have you never heard about him before? So I like to believe we're an extension of the church.
Nice. And so you also have the Divine Diamonds.
Yes.
For young ladies. Talk a little bit about what Divine Diamonds is, and then how that kind of also flows into the ministry.
Yeah. So with our whole women program, we provide restorative services, right? The free mental health services and the different events that help, pour out love to women that need to get a break and that need different services, or just find out what resources are in the community. So for the adolescent girls, we serve girls 10 through 18. We provide them preventative services. What are some tools that we can give you to assist you in not going down the path that some of us went down? How can we help you to be empowered even at a young age, to learn about yourself, to gain self-confidence? I think that there's a huge attack on our youth, and it's a lot easier for them to be strayed down a wrong path or go down the wrong way. I know for me growing up, I never had a mentor. So that's like where some of my passion comes from for doing it. And then I also, as a social worker, work with girls in foster care. And a lot of times, especially minority girls, they were the hardest to place, the hardest to get adopted, just because nobody wants to deal with, they have an attitude, they're angry, not understanding where that stems from. And so my heart goes out to young girls. And it's just like, if they just had like an older sister, a big sister, an auntie, somebody that can pour into them and say, hey, you're going down the wrong path. How about you do this? Have you ever thought about doing a business at 16? Why do you have to wait until you're 30? Have you ever thought about credit? How important your credit is. So that way, when you go to college and they give you free pizza and a shirt, you're not like, oh yeah, let me do this. And you're wrecking your financial wealth at 18 years old. So it's kind of just giving them the tools that they need. But I see what they need more than anything is confidence. And I think just as a whole, that's where the enemy really comes for us. If I can make you feel rejected, isolate you, make you feel alone, like nobody cares, like nobody loves about you, I can silence you. I can stop you. I can hinder you from getting to your purpose, from walking in the calling that God has for you. You have to have confidence for that. You have to know he's called you. You have to know that he loves you. And a lot of the girls that are in our mentorship program, they do not believe they're worth much of anything, which is why they're scared to even introduce themselves. Some of the girls, I make them introduce themselves every session, every workshop. You'll see how they shake. Like they're so anxious even just to talk, to introduce themselves. What does that stem from? Right. And so if we can mitigate that stuff at an early age, your potential is limitless once you become of age.
And you kind of mentioned, some of them are nervous. They're scared to open up. How do you get these young ladies? Do they come to you? Do you guys reach out to them? How do you get them to become part of Divine Diamonds and be able to work with them?
So a few ways. So one of the ways, I used to work for different behavioral health agencies. And so I have a lot of connections there. So a lot of the girls have mental health diagnoses or behaviors. And so the social workers will just refer them to our program. And then we just go from there. And then also word of mouth and marketing on LinkedIn, on Facebook and everything, that if you have a child and you're interested, sign them up. We also make sure that we have a table when we do these large events for women to know, hey, you're not alone in parenting. We're here to help you. It takes a village. It still takes a village, even more so now. So we usually just word of mouth referrals from other agencies.
And so over the next few years, where do you see Whole Heart going? Where do you see your ministry going?
I see it expanding. I believe that the Lord is getting ready to expand our territory, and I want to partner with other agencies, possibly churches, to have it in different cities, because we've just seen the dynamic impact that is had here, and I want to spread it. It's just an amazing way to spread love. The heart in Whole Heart Foundation is actually an acronym for holistically empowered and radiantly thriving. And that is how we want to see all the girls and all the women that we encounter. And so if we can start a movement with that all around the nation, that would be just amazing, where women can really take time out to focus on their well-being, their holistic well-being. That includes their spiritual health. That includes their mental health. That includes physical health.
And so you said right now you guys, so you're predominantly in Jacksonville, Florida, correct?
Yes.
And then but the goal is to spread out and to invite more people in.
Yes, I believe in collaboration. I believe in partnership. It's easier for us to do it here because we have developed great relationships. But for instance, where you are, those are your relationships. So, so anyone who would be interested in partnering to bring this type of event to their city, we would definitely be open to having that conversation and being able to just impact. We already have the framework, so we just need collaborations.
And then if somebody is interested first of all, if somebody's interested in, they feel like there's a calling, that they're being led to create a ministry. Obviously, it took a whole lot of work. Obviously, God gave you the steps and the planning to do it, but it took a whole lot of work to do it. What's your advice to them, your encouragement to them to seek out that ministry that's being laid on their heart?
I always tell people to fast when you're trying to get just more connected with God, because when you're embarking on a journey like this, your ears have to be open, your eyes have to be open, and you need to clearly hear what the Lord is saying. Because I know there's sometimes I was like, okay, I'm just going to do it like this and do it like this. And then I'd have a dream that's like, don't do it like that. This is how you need to do it. So just having that supernatural strategy will help you to excel. It'll help you to accelerate at an amazing speed, at an amazing rate. So I would definitely say making sure that your spirit man is strong and your spiritual eyes and ears are open. I would also say to start relationship building. You go into networking events, meeting people that could be a divine connection, that could be somebody that could help you to get a sponsorship or to help you to meet somebody else who can help further the mission that God has placed on your heart. Even like a business coach is helpful too, to learn the business aspect, because even though it is a ministry, it is also a business. Outreach, you have to be able to operate, and you can impact a lot more people if you're doing it with not just your finances, but other help in the community. So I would say those three things.
Great. And so if anybody wants to contact you, whether it's somebody who wants to partner with you or somebody who's looking to come to the women's convention or be part of Divine Diamonds, how do they need to reach you?
Yes, I can be reached at info@wholeheartfdn. So that's whole heart, and then F as in Frank, D as in David, N as in Nancy.org. Or our website is wholeheartfdn.org. And I can also be reached by phone at 904-479-6030. That seems to be the easiest for people.
Yeah, I'm sure calls and texts are probably the easiest, but
yeah.
It's a blessing that you get to do this. It's a blessing that you were able to create something that is going to be beneficial not only to women who are currently going through struggles or different things, but for young women who are coming up, like you said, that may not feel the love, may not feel the confidence that they need to as young ladies. So it's a blessing that you're doing it. And Tiffany, we're rooting for you. We're, as you expand and grow, keep me updated. We'll bring you back at some point to talk about how your expansion's gone. But anything else you want to say before we let you go?
I just want to tell people to really expand their thinking when it comes to outreach and what it looks like. It can look like so many different things, not just a food pantry, not just however you can positively impact and show the love of God, literally show it to someone. You just never know how great of a transformation it can cause them to have in their lives. And so I just want people to just open their minds to different possibilities.
Nice. Well, Tiffany, we've been talking with Tiffany Rene, who is a resilience and growth expert, and she has the Whole Heart Foundation. So go check her out on the internet. Go check her out on social media. Call her. She just laid her information out there. But Tiffany, we thank you for your time. We appreciate you. And you've been listening to the Church with No Walls podcast. Take care and be blessed.
I was glad when they said, come let us go to the house of the Lord. I was glad when they say, come let us go to the church with no walls. You are my brother. of God in the church with no wall.